Alright, hello everyone, we're back. So, this dude, and that dude over there, this is the third one this year, alright? Let me walk you through this. I mean, I know this is going to be the third video on this channel. The other videos is of that running, actually. And then out of nowhere, we're already on the third motor. Because I had videos of when I put the second one in. So anyway, just a small little recap. Bought this 300ZX, was that New Year's Eve, 2018. So was that December 31st or 20? No, it's December 31st, 2018. So New Year's Eve. Well, was that Christmas? Christmas, New Year, whatever. Same thing, whatever. I got it on New Year's Eve. I know I got it on New Year's Eve. So bought the car. I bought it non-running. All the fuel, the upper fuel rail and all that crap was taken apart. That's the only reason it didn't run, really. Because I brought it home on the other videos, as you saw. I showed myself talking about what I'm about to do to it. I hook up the fuel rails and it runs. In the second video, I show you it running. I drive it around, do burnout, blah, blah, blah. So I haven't made any videos after that. Well, I did make videos. I think I deleted them and I never uploaded them. But I had videos of when I put a second motor in this car. So what happened with the first one? So the first one's actually over here. Let's come over here real quick. Focus. Here's the first one. Right now it's just a long block. Mostly everything's pulled off of it. It still has a timing belt on it and all that crap. But anyway, this is the first motor that came in it. The 93 original factory motor. I don't really know what happened, honestly. So I was driving it for a week. I checked the oil and everything back in that first video. I don't think I showed myself doing it or talked about it, but I checked the oil. It was full. I drive it around for a week having fun with it, and out of nowhere it locks up. So tow it to the house. I throw a little bit of 5W30. It's a little bit thinner, and it frees it back up. So it locked up. I freed it up with the 530, and it was starting. It was knocking, obviously, after it locked up. So I'm like, all right. So I'm going to need another motor. I'm going to rebuild it. And I was thinking, I thought that buying another motor would be easier than rebuilding this one. It wasn't. It would have been way easier to rebuild it. So there's something for you guys to learn. And I'll tell you why I'm not rebuilding it right now. I just bought another one instead, again, for a third time. But anyway, so that's here, locked up. I mean, no, it's actually free right now. It's just there's something in the bottom end, something obviously broke. Like, I lost compression in one of the cylinders. I never checked which one, any of that. But anyway, so I bought the second motor. I bought it from Northwest JDM, and that was a terrible motor. The motor came with a lot of damaged parts. The idle air control was completely smashed on it. Lots of connectors and everything were smashed. A lot of stuff was damaged on it that if I didn't have this motor, it wouldn't have worked out. And so I put that motor in the car, and I was reading on forums that your oil sending unit, if it focus, whatever, it did for a second, there you go, your oil sending unit goes bad a lot, and that sometimes you won't be able to read oil pressure on your gauge in your car. So when I had finally did all the work, I converted it because, by the way, this is another actual Fairlady Z motor, and the one I bought from Northwest JDM was a Fairlady Z motor, so I had to convert the vacuum crap for your brake booster to this side because it's on that side, and the harness that comes with it's on the driver's side in America, but it's supposed to be on that side, and that's all I converted. The harness is in that car. But anyway, same with that other motor. It was also a Fairlady. This is not a Fairlady motor. It's a 300ZX motor, the American one. But anyway, that motor, I threw it in there and no oil pressure, but I thought it was the fuel sending unit because everything was running fine. It wasn't making any loud ticking or knocking noises. So I was like, well, that's obviously fine then. So drive it for about 3 days and it does start to knock. And that's when I realized that the oil sending unit was correct, because that is the one that was running on this motor. And I thought maybe metal pieces got in it and it wasn't able to read. But nope, it worked. Never had oil pressure, and I was running it that whole time. with no oil pressure. Oh, it actually had very low oil pressure. It'd get like 5 pounds if I would be high in the RPMs, and then 0 if I'm just like idling or at 3,000. So that's what happened with the other motor that I don't think I have the videos of that one anymore. But anyway, why did I not rebuild this? So besides me thinking it would be easier to buy another motor, which it's not, they cost more than you think, even for the NA one, and honestly just rebuilding it would have been faster, because that second motor, I bought that in March, and I did it over spring break, and that motor was garbage, honestly, and I got nothing done. Here we are, it is September 1st of 2019, and this is finally the third motor. And I bought this on Facebook Marketplace for 200 bucks, and the person also included the transmission, and they also included the ECU and another harness. I took all that crap off too. The motor I bought for $1,400 from Northwest JDM, they were supposed to send an ECU, and they never did. Even when I contacted them, they just said use the one you got, and I'm like, that's cool and all, I was gonna do that, but at the same time I paid $1,400 and you guys said that would come with it. You need to include it. So I don't know if it was specifically me that had a bad time with Northwest JDM, but if you're gonna get a motor from them, obviously I'm not gonna recommend them. I had a lot of problems trying to get the motors back. I had a lot of shipping problems. Then I had the shipping try to charge me $4 grand for shipping it back to them to get my refund. And the parts missing from this motor, like a whole bunch of other bolts and other little craps that's just missing, I had to put in that other motor to send back so they'd give me my refund, because they weren't going to give me it torn apart. I had to get stuff off of my old motor and put it on that. So this one's missing stuff. No, those cams are actually here, but other things, other bolts, intake manifold bolts, all kinds of little crap, it's gone. My variable valve timing sensor solenoids, those are gone. I had to put them on the other motor. I had to send them off. And if I'm not mistaken, I think they're about $179 per variable valve timing solenoid. So that's why I was like, I'm just going to buy a whole nother motor with that crap on it. And they had my oxygen sensors too, and my good exhaust manifolds, because the ones they gave me, which are actually from this motor, or the second motor, these exhaust manifolds are from the second motor, they're crappy. The bolts, you cannot use the bolts. They're rust over the threads. You can't use them. I'm not using these exhaust manifolds either. I'm actually buying shorty headers, because they seem to work better with that Megan Racing exhaust, because that exhaust seems to go through these gaskets I buy for it, because I buy cheap gaskets to match what came with the car when I bought it, and those melt like in a few days, and they start leaking. So I'm gonna clean those back up and get the headers and have it properly set up for the exhaust setup. Anyway, that's why we're on the third motor, and I should have rebuilt it in the end. That's why this one's still not rebuilt yet. And this is actually gonna be the last VG I put in it. Because, honestly, for the love of God, all I wanted to do was put the motor in the car and have the car running and driving so I could drive it around, enjoy it, get the hang of it, all that crap, and I want to put a 2J in it. That's what my plan is, a 2J or an RB25 or 26. It's going to most likely be a 2J that seems to be cheaper. So, this is going to be the last VG. Hopefully this one works. They claim it works. They said they bought it from a dude who got it. I don't know. I don't really know the origins of where it came from. I also know it is a Japanese Fairlane motor, and I also know it has low miles. I don't know how many exact. I know it's low from certain things on the motor, certain like wear and tear items. It having the factory spark plugs in them, legitimately the factory spark plugs, which I took out and changed anyway, because why not? And yeah. So by the way, I've been having the oil problems. I'm like buying tons of oil now, just dumping it in there, soaking it, cranking it by hand, getting the oil through there, and I'm gonna keep doing all that crap. Got the oil filters and all that in there. So we're on the third motor. September 1st, 2019. Here it is. So I've been through this before, so everything's moving way faster than usual than the first time. This looks like a manual, but I think it's actually an automatic. Doesn't matter, I have my 5-speed over there. I wasn't going to use this transmission anyway because I don't know the condition of it. Don't know if it works. I know mine works. So, yeah. That's here. I'm glad it came with the starter too, and also the little transmission harness, but once again, I have my own. But the starter, I kind of messed up some of the bolts on the solenoids on my other starter, so I'm just going to take the solenoid off of this one and throw it on that starter. While I'm waiting for this motor, I also got a lot of wiring done and hooked up the radio and everything. It looks really nice, and I have wires ran all under to the other speakers back here. These speakers are still out of the doors because I'm going to be putting in some aftermarket, obviously some aftermarket 6.5s, and the other owner put these tweeters in on both sides, so I'm going to actually put in some different ones because these sounded blown up when I tested them. So I'm going to put some different ones in. I'm going to put an amplifier on both of those. It's going to sound great. So, but besides that, we're on the third motor. Here it is, all of its glory. You'll see it in the car. Right now I just changed the spark plugs. Wiring specialties is the harness I got. I remember I was talking about in the other video, I think, with the way it came with the car. This is an old motor. The 93 had the new style injectors and the new style other crap, just the new style plugs on it. And with wiring specialties, luckily you can buy a little converter to do your old style injectors with your new style harness or whatever. You can switch it over. I had to also switch over the igniter, but here's the old one. I don't need that. Might sell it, might not, I don't know. So in the long run, if you have a problem with your 300ZX motor, let's say you locked it up too, just don't buy another one. Or if you want to buy another car, do whatever you want to do, sure. But if you want to keep your car and you want to get something done with the motor, and you want to keep it a VG for the second, or you want to just always keep it VG, just rebuild your VG. Seriously, I'll tell you that right now. Just rebuild it. It's so hard to find this motor. Junkyards really didn't have it. They didn't have Infiniti J30s often, and then I never saw that. I saw that once in a junkyard, and that motor was terrible. It was covered in like nests and crap, and it also said the motor was bad on the window. So anyway, rebuild your VG. Don't try to buy another one and get around it. Just rebuild it. I wish I would have just rebuilt it the first time. I would have been driving it sooner. I know that for sure. But anyway, I'm going to get back to it. And that's going to be the end of this video. The rest is going to be me putting this other motor in and hopefully driving it around with no knocking, no sealing problems, no dripping of oil or fluids, no issues. So, hope you guys have a great day. Bye.